I don't know how to trust my experiences of things that I would have labeled supernatural previously, but I also don't want to just reduce it to a materialistic, mechanical, dead, no spirit in it kind of a thing. Do you think that there's some things that we can do to kind of reestablish trust in the, I guess, spirit, whatever we want to label that, not using the word supernatural, but in those experiences of God, the
Yeah.
immanence of God, maybe?
I think we can learn to trust God if we're committed to the notion that God is perfectly, always, consistently loving. And by loving, I mean acting for our well being and the well being of all. God always wants flourishing, and God can't control anyone or anything. Those two things together provide me a great deal of comfort, confidence, and trust. If God can control and doesn't stop evil, then I don't trust that God. If God isn't all loving, I'm not going to trust that God. But a God who's all loving but can't control, that sounds like a trustworthy agent. And then in terms of kind of the conceptual thing, something that helps me to trust is my belief that because God is uncontrolling, everything that happens in our lives and in creation has both divine and creaturely influence. And sometimes the divine influence is largely ignored by creatures, and therefore we have evil things that happen. But oftentimes God's influence is also misunderstood by creatures. And so that means that if we look back on our previous lives and recount powerful spiritual experiences, maybe at church camp, in the woods, in a worship service and prayer, and in our former lives, we had defined those as some supernatural intervention, and now we don't believe in that. We don't have to throw out belief that God was active in that moment. We just have to reinterpret that divine action in ways that better fit our current ways of thinking about God. So, in doing that, we can reclaim or salvage those powerful past moments of spiritual experience without having to say to retain the theological frameworks we used back then to try to make sense of them.
Wow. My brain just did a little small explosion.
I love it, Tom.
Salvaging, almost like reimagining
Hmm.
your past experiences with new frameworks
Right, right.
instead of just ditching it all together and say, wow, it was all bullshit. So,
Exactly.
no. Because in that moment, it meant something. In that moment, it did something. It's just the framework I used to interpret it was not necessarily fine tuned,
Yep, yep.
but it was still real. Well, you just blew my world. Holy cow.
I love it, Tom.